Hey, this is Linz, and you are watching Support the Scene.
Hey, this is Jade from Support the Scene, and I'm here with another amazing, very talented individual from the Vancouver music scene. Now, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me, Jade. Super excited to be here today. My name is Jandrou, and a lot of people get confused as to how to write my name, so I'm just gonna spell it for you. It's Jandrou. And the J is silent because I am originally from El Salvador. I am Latino, and that's what our J's sound like.
I love it. I love it. Now, tell me a little bit. Did you grow up? Did you spend a lot of time there and then come to Vancouver?
Yeah, so I grew up. I grew up in El Salvador till I was 19, and then I moved to Canada to go to school. I've been in so-called Vancouver for quite a bit now, and I'm proud to say that my heart belongs here too now. I feel like this is home. It's such a great, place to be. So that's originally from El Salvador, but now I feel like half of my heart is in El Salvador, half of my heart is here.
Well, that's good. That's good. I bet the place back home keeps you warmer than it does over here.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, what have you noticed being the big difference in the music community between where you grew up and then when you came here?
Yeah, I would say that there is no music community almost back in El Salvador. So it was never really, I've always liked singing, and I've always liked writing, I guess what you would call it more like poetry, like little thoughts of how I felt at certain times in my life. But I never really thought that I could do something with it because where I grew up, it was just like not a viable thing that you could do. And even like in spaces like here in Canada, which you would think, it's a first world country, there's way more going on. There's like funding for this kind of activity or this kind of industry. I would say that even in this country, it's kind of limited. Because I do it out of passion, and I'm making I'm putting my own money into it.
Yeah.
Right. In hopes that maybe in the future I'll get some of that investment back in some sort. But at the end of the day, I do it because I love it. It is. I think about it almost like my extracurricular activity, right? Like, if I were to.
And one of the things that I love after seeing you on stage is the connection that you make with the audience. Is one thing that really drew me, is that the music is great, your energy is great, but the way that you are able to be on a stage and have that audience connection and have them all up and excited and going with your music really sets you apart from a lot of musicians that have that kind of just go up and let their kind of the music do most of the talking. You're up there and you're making yourself out to the crowd, and I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's very important for people to understand where my music comes from, just because everything that I do has been an outlet for my own emotions. And you were at the show, and between every song I like to give a little bit of a snippet of the backstory behind them, because they were a big part of my emotions at some point in my life. And it's great for me to be able to perform and be at a different headspace from where I was back in the day. And I think that I feel like music has such a power, and it's a great way of connecting with someone. And that's at the end of the day why I love doing what I do, is connecting with others.
That's fantastic. Speaking of which, what do you have coming up?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I performed my first EP at the Pride Society show, which is where how we got to know each other a bit more. So pretty much you heard one unreleased song, and I have another unreleased song that's coming up as part of that first EP. And then, so I'm hoping to release the one that you heard, which is called Liberate. Mm-hmm. towards the end of November. That's like the third week of November is when I'm planning on releasing that. And potentially having a music video that will probably be released during the December time for that song. And then early next year, the very last song of my, and like my first EP. And that one, my very last song that I'm working on right now is very Latino. It's like, you're gonna feel the Latin beats, you're gonna feel some inspiration from like Spanish guitar and some inspiration from Moroccan kind of like, percussion per se, but yeah, it's very Latino inspired. So that one, and I'm speaking mostly in Spanish for that one. So I'm really looking forward to releasing that one. It's going to be fun.
I love that. How do you find balancing, the North American audience with, the more worldwide audience?
Yeah, it's funny because I don't know why, for whatever reason, even though my native tongue is Spanish, I don't know why I every single time I get inspiration to write something, it's in English, and I don't understand why. So, but the thing is, like, for this one last song, I was like, Alejandro, you have to push yourself to speak in your language, because it's such a beautiful language and it's part of who I am, right? So I think with this last song, I'm like having a lot of fun with it. So I'm like, oh man, like, and I have this is like my first EP is pretty much what I'm talking about right now, but I already have like 7 more songs for my next project, which is going to be a whole album. And now I'm like thinking, oh man, like I need to put more Spanish in it. So that's kind of, yeah, it's interesting because I find like my audience right now is kind of very half and half. So I feel very divided in that regard.
But it's also cool that you're touching both sides and being able to make music that, breaks boundaries, that goes beyond that what, just English for English people, just Spanish for Spanish people kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely. And I think that in general, like has been a cultural shift, especially in North America, where there are a lot of, I think since Despacito came out,
yeah,
like I feel like North American culture has been very embracing of our music, which is really exciting, and it is beautiful. There's so many different kinds of music, and now Rosalia is definitely like opening up different kinds of music that would have otherwise been considered. It's really interesting because even in Latin America, the kind of music that you listen to is attached to a certain status. Mm-hmm. Of class, and I think Rosalia she's a little problematic because she's using a lot of Latin music, even though she's from Spain. So there's like people talking about cultural appropriation. I personally think that these conversations need to happen, but also I do appreciate the fact that she's bringing our culture to another level, which opens up the door to many other Latino artists too. So I don't know. I don't want to get political here, but there's conversations around this topic that are happening for sure.
I love that. Well, hopefully, where can everyone check you out? Where's your socials?
So I am on Instagram, I am on YouTube, I am on Spotify, Apple Music, all the major streaming platforms as Jandrou, like I said. I would love it for whoever's watching this to follow me and support me, because for a small artist like myself, your support means everything.
Exactly. And that's it. Keep supporting, keep investing your time for us to be able to hear it, because we love it and we love all the passion that you do. And thank you for coming on the show. Please, everyone, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, be notified, go check out all the links. They will all be posted in below. And thanks for supporting independent music, and keep rocking. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching. This is Support the Scene. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, follow, and share.